Hey, how's it going? Today I want to talk about how to drive a supercar. Let's define what is a supercar. A supercar, it's a short term for superior performance car. I can imagine that everyone has a car or perhaps thought about driving a high performance car and perhaps taking it on the road and see how fast they can go with anything like that. Yeah, at least everyone has thought about it once in their life. Why that would be interesting experience to have for anyone. Perhaps other people are interested in different areas. Perhaps that would be one of those areas that or experience that everyone should at least have. I believe, yeah, everyone should at least have this kind of experience. But perhaps from there they can progress into more extreme experience if that's something that they're interested in. But in this particular video, I would like to focus on perhaps supercars and what that is, and perhaps why would anyone would be interested in driving one? Just some of the examples would be exceptional speed, acceleration, handling, and overall performance capabilities. These cars often feature advanced engineering, cutting-edge technology, high-quality materials. Those cars can achieve exceptional performance and they can offer their own characteristics when it comes to overall performance. Uh, Something to think about, I guess. When it comes to motivation, you need to understand what motivates you. I remember going to one of the seminars, and during the seminar, we were discussing overall motivation and where most of the people need to begin at, and what kind of questions people should ask themselves. I really like presentation, and during the presentation, uh, we were asked to perhaps a number of different questions. One that I remember would be, what would motivate me to get out of bed on Saturdays? And one of those areas perhaps would be doing something good, not necessarily for myself, but for somebody else. And yeah, one of those motivations. Not necessarily a car, since we're on the topic of the car, but either way, that would be just one of those things, I guess. But doing something good for others, and perhaps that would be one of the ways how people can motivate themselves. Doing something for perhaps for your parents, for your brother, sister, second half. That's one way to think about it. Doing something for others, not necessarily for yourself. Seems that might motivate you a lot more compared to if you would need more to do a little bit extra, a little bit more, especially on Saturdays early in the morning. If there's anything that you can do, perhaps do it for others, if not for yourself. That's overall sums up presentation when it comes to motivation, what it's like when you need to motivate and where you need to begin, and perhaps some of the questions or just the topics that someone should think of and where it should come from. Overall, when it comes to motivation, why would anyone pursue perhaps that extra mile when it comes to working on their own business, or perhaps entering in very challenging environments when it comes to career? I would definitely would consider motivations when it comes to perhaps hard long hours at work, and it's just one of those things to think about, I guess, that you would set perhaps certain goals for yourself and find ways of enjoying it, and perhaps I prefer focusing on experience, perhaps different joys. Perhaps once you did it, you wouldn't find that much joy in it. But I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. But yeah, but overall, supercars can offer high horsepower performance, uh, aggressive styling, I guess, lightweight construction, advanced aerodynamics, high-speed capabilities, exceptional handling, luxury interiors, limited production, some of the models, high price tag, prestige and brand identity that you can find with particular cars, especially if those cars are in high demand. There are many ways of how to do it. One way to do it would be begin by define what kind of car would you like to drive. From there, set a budget for that particular experience, how you're gonna achieve that. Overall, that might improve your financial planning and overall savings, investment, uh, overall cutting unnecessary expenses that you might have, increase income, perhaps that little bit of motivation that you're looking for. What would make of you to achieve that? Perhaps some people focus on that since you might become high performance individual, just so you would be able to achieve that. That would offer career growth, perhaps additional work that you might need to do and developing your skills. You might need to pay more attention at things like credit score, financing options. If that would be one way how you might be able to actually afford of having a car or taking on a loan, leasing. Overall, that might require a negotiation process. You might need to trade in a car, wait for a really good deal, consider a used car. That's another option how you can approach that. Patience, persistence, that might require some time of waiting depending on what kind of car, how rare that car is. Alternative routes might be something that you can to focus on more on experience, and you might go on the track and do racing or join car club. And overall, if there's anything, avoid impulsive decisions. And I think it's comes with some age requirements depending on what kind of car you're going to be planning on renting or buying. Well, there might be some in terms of insurance that you might be at a certain age. But either way, yeah, that's one way to think about it. Have written a book. Name of the book is Game Strategy. In the book, I was sharing a lot of information with the readers, how you can potentially achieve that. That would be just more as an exercise, and I'm sharing information within the book how I have approached this exercise. It would be like a task or small thing that I would like to achieve, I guess. How I have completed this task myself, and I'm sharing for others how they can think about this task or approach this task. And it's kind of fun experience. I don't know if that other people have done it, or perhaps it's just that that's a small thing for some. For some, it might mean a lot. But yeah, you can find the book major retailers, or you can buy it from my company's website. You can find more in the description. Thank you. I had approached this exercise perhaps slightly different compared to many other people. I had not necessarily were thinking of purchasing a car. I was thinking about different ways how I can just focus on experience, perhaps drive the car. And, only care about driving and not necessarily were thinking too much about owning one. It might cost too much, and that would be additional liability, I guess, and overall loss of value that that might have, and overall maintenance that it would might cost over time. Either way, I didn't focus on owning a car. I was thinking about driving a car, so that's completely different conversation that many people can have. I didn't care about owning it. I was focusing on perhaps driving a car. That's what I care about. That's the first thing. Second thing, I thought if I will pay for this experience or person will pay to me for driving a car. That's another thing worth mentioning. So I only things that I care about is driving a car, and the second thing was who's gonna pay for what. So I focused on lateral, so that would be a person paying me for driving a car. Yeah, so that's the way how I approach this exercise. So yeah, I'm sharing more information in the book for anyone who is interested. Perhaps they can think about similar experience of how do what you like, and not only what you like, but even getting paid for doing what you like, I guess. Yeah. If there's any motivation, there's one of those things. Perhaps since we approaching a weekend when you want to think about how you can do something that you enjoy a lot and getting paid for doing that, and that would be sort of motivation for everyone. Perhaps strive to be better when it comes to perhaps your personal professional life and doing what you like. Thanks for watching, and see you next one.